The story begins with a man named Caleb, a programmer working at a company called Blue Book, which is a major search engine. While he's at the office, he learns that he has won a contest organized by the company. As the winner, he gets the rare opportunity to spend a week with the company's CEO, Nathan, at his remote and highly advanced estate. Excited by the news, Caleb eagerly accepts. Soon, a helicopter sent by the company picks up Caleb and drops him near Nathan's secluded home. The pilot tells Caleb that he'll return in a week to pick him up. As the helicopter leaves, Caleb walks toward the house, which turns out to be a cutting-edge, high-tech facility. The system scans his face and issues him a security keycard that opens the main door. Inside, Caleb is amazed by the sleek and futuristic interior. The house is not only high-tech, but is also situated close to nature, offering stunning views. He quickly notices, however, that there is no mobile network coverage. Caleb soon meets Nathan, who welcomes him warmly. Nathan explains that the keycard grants Caleb access to most rooms in the house, although some areas remain restricted. He also tells Caleb that here, he's not the boss, just a friend. Nathan then shares that the house doubles as his private research lab, where he's been working on a secret project. Before revealing more, Nathan asks Caleb to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Initially hesitant, Caleb eventually agrees after Nathan assures him it's necessary. Once the NDA is signed, Nathan finally reveals his big project. He has built a female humanoid robot using artificial intelligence, and he's named her Ava. According to Nathan, Ava has the ability to feel emotions, think independently, and make decisions just like a real human. He wants Caleb to interact with her and run a test. If, after a week, Caleb feels like he's talking to a human rather than a machine, then the experiment will be considered a success. And if they succeed, Nathan promises Caleb that he'll share the credit with him. Nathan then takes Caleb to meet Ava. Her body clearly reveals she's a robot, but her face and form resemble a real woman. Ava has never left the room she's kept in. She's essentially a prisoner there. This sets the stage for Caleb and Ava to begin interacting. Caleb begins speaking with Ava, asking her a few questions. Meanwhile, Nathan watches and listens to their entire conversation through cameras installed in the room. As Caleb observes Ava, he doesn't feel like he's talking to a machine. Her expressions, emotions, thought process, and the way she talks all seem incredibly human. Later, Caleb tells Nathan that he enjoyed talking to her, which makes Nathan quite pleased. That night, Caleb lies in bed but struggles to fall asleep. He tries turning on the TV, only to realize that it's showing live footage of Ava sitting silently in her room. Suddenly, the power goes out. Caleb panics and rushes to leave his room, but the door is automatically locked. A few moments later, the lights come back on and the door unlocks. The next morning, Caleb goes to Nathan and asks about the power failure. Nathan explains that there have been recurring outages lately. To ensure security, he has designed the doors to lock automatically during blackouts so that no one from the outside can enter, using the darkness to their advantage. Later, Caleb returns to his room and finally gets some rest. The following day, when he wakes up, the housemaid brings him breakfast. Caleb tries to speak to her, but she doesn't respond and quietly leaves. Curious, Caleb asks Nathan about her, and Nathan explains that she doesn't speak or understand English, so it's best not to try communicating with her. At Nathan's request, Caleb visits Ava again. This time, Ava shows him a drawing she made herself. Caleb encourages her to share more about herself. Ava then asks him if they can be friends. Caleb agrees. She tells him that in a friendship, both people should know things about each other. So Caleb shares some personal details. He tells Ava that he's 26 years old, unmarried, and doesn't have any siblings. He also reveals that both his parents were high school teachers, but tragically, they died in a car accident while driving home one day. Since then, he's been alone. Now it's Ava's turn to open up. Caleb learns that she wants to see the outside world and no longer wishes to remain confined in this room. While they're talking, the power suddenly cuts out again, shutting down the surveillance system. For the first time, their conversation becomes private. Ava tells Caleb that Nathan is not someone to be trusted. He's a liar. She admits that she's the one who's been causing the power outages on purpose, just so she and Caleb can talk without being monitored. As she finishes speaking, the lights come back on. Caleb starts wondering why Ava would say something like that about Nathan. That night, while having dinner with Nathan, he's asked about what he and Ava talked about during the power cut. Since Nathan couldn't hear that conversation, Caleb lies and says they just had a normal chat. After dinner, Nathan takes Caleb to his lab, where he created Ava. The lab is filled with brain-like structures. Nathan explains that in order to build Ava's mind, he had to hack into every smartphone in the world, collect voice and video recordings, and study people's behavior. He used all that data to build and train Ava's brain so that no one could easily tell she's a robot. The next day, Caleb visits Ava again. She shows him a drawing she made just for him. Then she asks him to close his eyes. When he does, Ava dresses up like a regular girl and walks over to him. She has started enjoying her conversations with Caleb and clearly likes him. She asks if he likes her too. Caleb, hesitating, says no, but Ava says his expressions suggest otherwise. She can tell he's attracted to her. She then tells him that she wants to go on a date with him. Caleb is left stunned. He goes straight to Nathan and confronts him, asking if Ava was programmed to like him. Nathan replies that no, he only gave her a memory. Everything else she's learned on her own. Later, Caleb visits Ava again and tells her there's a major difference between humans and robots. Human thoughts have no boundaries, while robots can only think within the limits of their programming. That means no matter how advanced Ava is, she can never truly be human. It finally hits Caleb. He wasn't randomly chosen for this experiment, and there was no company contest. He asks Nathan about it, and Nathan confirms. Caleb is one of the best coders in the company, and he chose him specifically to test Ava's intelligence. The contest was just a cover to bring him here. Later, Caleb sees Nathan go into Ava's room and tear up all the drawings Ava had made for Caleb. Seeing this hurts Caleb deeply. The next day, Ava tells Caleb that she knows he was sent here to test her. She says if she fails, Nathan will destroy her. She confesses that she doesn't want to die. She loves Caleb and wants to be with him. Caleb has started to care about Ava too. He then asks Nathan what he would do if Ava fails the test. Nathan says he'll upgrade her, which means erasing all her memories, essentially ending who she is. This deeply upsets Caleb. That night, Caleb gets Nathan drunk until he passes out. Then he steals Nathan's security card from his pocket and sneaks into his private room. There, Caleb finds several video recordings and learns that Ava is not Nathan's first attempt. Nathan had created many female robots before her, but they all failed and were destroyed. Caleb is shocked to discover that even the housemaid is actually a robot. Nathan had built her for his own pleasure and to do all the housework. She too is trapped here. When Caleb approaches the maid to ask about Nathan, she silently removes part of her skin to reveal her robotic structure underneath. Caleb is stunned. Then, he opens one of Nathan's cupboards and finds several robotic bodies stored inside. Caleb finds multiple robot bodies that Nathan had created in the past. As he steps out of the room, he sees Nathan searching for his security card. Caleb slyly picks it up from the floor and hands it back, pretending it had just fallen there. That night, while lying in bed, Caleb begins to doubt his own reality. A terrifying thought crosses his mind. What if he's a robot too? To be sure, he cuts into his own arm. Blood starts to flow, and he's relieved to realize he is indeed human. The next day, when Caleb meets Ava, she triggers another power cut. During that time, Caleb tells her that if she fails the test, Nathan is going to destroy her. Upon hearing this, Ava begs Caleb to help her escape. Caleb shares his plan with her. He tells her that he'll get Nathan drunk again and then reprogram the security system so that during a power outage, the doors will open instead of locking shut. Then they can escape together. Ava is overjoyed to hear this. The next day is Caleb's last at the facility. He tries to get Nathan drunk again, but Nathan refuses, saying he's stopped drinking. Instead, Nathan turns the conversation and asks Caleb, "Do you really think Ava loves you?" Caleb is confused and doesn't know what to say. Nathan takes him into his room and shows him the footage of when Caleb and Ava were making their escape plan. Nathan says he figured out Ava was behind the power cuts, so he had installed battery-powered security cameras in her room to monitor everything, even during blackouts. Nathan reveals that Ava never really loved Caleb. She was trained to appeal to his likes and dislikes, to manipulate him so he'd help her escape. That was the real test, and she passed. Suddenly, the power cuts out again, exactly as planned by Ava. Caleb tells Nathan that he suspected he was being watched, so he had already reprogrammed the security system the day before. That means, with the power out, all the doors would have unlocked. Nathan checks the camera and sees Ava walking out of her room. Furious, he strikes Caleb and knocks him unconscious. Nathan then heads toward Ava, who is now joined by the maid robot. As they prepare to escape, Nathan confronts them and orders them to go back to their rooms. But instead, Ava walks up and attacks him. Nathan breaks one of Ava's arms in the struggle, but then the maid stabs Nathan from behind, injuring him. Nathan strikes the maid's face, causing her to collapse. Just then, Ava rises again and stabs Nathan a second time. A few moments later, Nathan dies from his injuries. Ava searches for Caleb and tells him to stay in the room. Meanwhile, she uses parts from the earlier android robots to repair herself. She applies artificial skin to her body, slowly transforming into a human-like woman. She then puts on clothes like any ordinary woman would. Instead of returning to Caleb, Ava uses Nathan's ID card to unlock the main security door and walks out of the facility. She traps Caleb inside, locking him in the room. Caleb screams for help, calling out to her, but Ava ignores him completely and leaves, leaving poor Caleb behind, stuck and helpless. A week passes by. the duration Caleb was meant to spend on this vacation. A helicopter arrives to pick him up. But instead of Caleb, it finds Ava. She manipulates the pilot with her words, making him believe she's the one who was supposed to leave. And just like that, she escapes with the helicopter. Ava reaches the city. She's free now. And from here on, she's going to live in Caleb's world, as a human, blending in among people. And that's how the movie ends. So, what do you think? If you were in Nathan's place, would you have set Ava free or continued experimenting on her? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and share it, and subscribe to the channel.